Yulia Ivlieva.
Let's explore the envy topic. How envious are you?
Very. Envious of everyone, of everything.
Is it possible to refuse and stay away from the heat? No, everyone has to do it.
It's a real trauma for me. It's unbearable. It's easier to punish myself than to lose you. I'm so afraid. I'm sorry it happened like that. Also, my husband is a deputy.
The host got feverish.
I felt like hurting you again.
Go crazy, it's good for you right now. Go again? Are we staying? The show is called Method. The show has no script. Today we will discuss certain human vices, namely the feeling of envy. How does envy manifest itself in your life, and what scenarios does it start? Let's go. Let's explore the envy topic. Does anyone feel envious? Who are you envious of? What are you envious of? How these scenarios and constructs define your life, using the feeling of envy. Is anyone ready to talk on this topic? Let's talk with you. What is your name?
My name is Alicia.
You're beautiful.
Thank you.
How envious are you? And what are you envious of?
Very. Envious of everyone, of everything, to the point where I forbid myself to live because I am envious of others.
You're perfect for this. Follow me. But that's not all. The girl with tattoos. I don't know what you have to do with each other, but you definitely do have something. Tell me how your feelings of envy manifest themselves.
It makes me powerless. It keeps me closed off from the world, and it forbids everyone around me from living.
Let's say the phrase, I acknowledge and accept.
I acknowledge and accept
That I might not have been born.
that I might not have been born. I can't. I just can't.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
Do you know anything about it?
I don't know anything about it at all. I was always told that I was a long-awaited child, that my mom loved me very much.
And really, really wanted me.
And she wanted to have me with Dad specifically. That's a big thing they tell me all the time. Dad and I wanted you so badly. So this phrase just lives in my head.
Say, I acknowledge and accept.
I acknowledge and accept
That before I was born,
that before I was born,
my parents almost got divorced.
my parents almost got divorced.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
I embrace that experience.
I embrace that experience
At exactly the price.
at exactly the price
At which I got it.
at which I got it.
And some part of me
And some part of me
thinks I'm to blame
thinks I'm to blame
for my parents' relationship.
for my parents' relationship.
And I give that part space.
And I give that part space.
Let me explain to you the mechanics of how this works. When a person didn't have the fundamental right to life, maybe because mom wanted an abortion, or there was a divorce set in motion, a broken relationship, or poverty, or whatever, some sort of serious family event, or even this very thought of whether or not to have a baby. It was later that she had decided that she definitely wanted to have a child. But in the moment, maybe she didn't. And the child, the embryo, it feels it all. Energetically, it understands that it could have been born or not. And then that child, when it's born, it has no inherent feeling that it has a right to life. And since it doesn't have the right to life, but somebody else does, it means that there is a competition with other people for this right to life. And who does have the right to live? Someone who is prettier, smarter, more obedient, compliant, talented. There, look, your brother is always better than you. And your sister, and your auntie's daughter, look at her. She got into a university tuition-free, and you're always catching up. And unconsciously, a bug forms in the system, and you start double-checking. Am I the best person in the room right now or not? And when you feel or understand that for some reason you aren't, that basically means death for you. And that's where the feeling of envy comes in. Feeling envious that someone has something that you don't have. How did you earn your right to live? Through what? How does it manifest in your life? What did you envy in people? For what reason?
It started when I was a child. I envied complete families with a dad, the kind of dad who doesn't drink, who is with his family. It started at that moment. I would fall asleep and imagine that I had a different family, that everything was complete and nice. Then
Hold on, this is an important point. After you were born, did mom and dad end up divorced or not?
They did. Not right away, but when I was 6, they officially got divorced. And everything was unstable there. For as long as I can remember, I don't have a memory of such a time when mom and dad were in love. That's all I've ever been told.
That they loved each other.
That they loved each other. That I was born in love. And this is an important aspect of my childhood. But I've never seen this love in my life.
Say, and it seems.
And it seems.
That I got everything wrong.
That I got everything wrong.
That what I saw.
That what I saw.
In my parents.
In my parents.
I saw it as love.
I saw it as love.
So in your adult life, love is not what you have in your mind. When your partner brings you flowers, sings serenades for you, protects you, cares for you, or whatever else. But this model of how your mom and dad treated each other.
Yes.
The unconscious of a child. Go deeper into this topic now. I'll try to explain to the rest of you. You think that love for you is mutual understanding, support, patience, respect. Some criteria that you have made up in your head. That you love that person, respect them, and so on. But really, the human psyche, it's like when you were a little child, you didn't know what love was. So you had to learn it from your parents. You had this internal camera in your mind that you took photos with. Whatever happened between mom and dad, that's love for you. And as an adult, your psyche starts looking for that exact picture. And in your male-female relationships, you are not looking for someone who will love and respect you, cherish you, support you. You're looking for someone who can replicate exactly that love to you. If mom could go 2 months without talking to dad, then to you, love is ignoring. So internally, you get really turned on by people who ignore you, for whom you don't exist. If some guy doesn't pay attention to you, goes out with another girl, this guy then becomes an idol for you, because he can ignore you just as well as your mother did. If your dad was aggressive towards your mom, then you will choose men and boys in your adult life who may be aggressive towards you too. If he's a gentleman, buys you cakes and flowers, that's boring for you, for your psyche. You don't interpret it as love. It tastes bad to you. It's the wrong photo. It's the wrong card. Her unconscious really took a picture of that mom and dad relationship that it uses as reference for love. Tell me, have you ever replicated them in your male-female relationships through life?
One and the same. Exactly the day I had the baby, everything. The other funny thing is that I gave birth a month early. He was in Kamchatka, so he couldn't come to pick me up from the maternity hospital. And my mother told me, "See what kind of husband you chose for yourself, that he couldn't even come to the maternity hospital? And even when he came back, he didn't come to me right away. He didn't come to me right away. It's a real trauma for me. It's unbearable." So the baby is 4 years old, and for 4 years, I've been carrying that in my head the whole time, that he didn't pick me up from the maternity hospital, and he didn't meet our daughter. We've had an awful relationship for all 4 years, but we don't leave each other, even though we're perfectly capable of doing so. But it's as if the issue isn't resolved, and I realize that there is something wrong, and it's all the same.
Repeating scenarios, the exact same.
And the funny thing is, just about a month ago, I started telling my kid every day that,
Dad and I have been waiting for you so much.
yes,
We love you so much.
can you believe it? Every day. It started a month ago. I just look at her and I say, every time, "Mariana, do you realize Dad and I have been waiting for you so much and for so long?" I mean, it's true that we've been waiting for her, but it's so strange.
Interesting. All right. You keep thinking about it. We will come back to this and do something about it. Now look, here's an interesting point. What am I actually doing with her right now? I'm leaving her too, yes? Just like her husband who left her in the maternity hospital. Unable to return from Kamchatka, she talks about her trauma, and my psyche responds to it in the same way. Okay, I'll go to another participant. And then it turns out that the people who are around you, they genuinely love you, but they leave you. There's some kind of mechanism in this. I love you, but I can't be near you. I'm in Kamchatka, even though I sincerely want to be with you. There is a connection, but there is no contact. All right, say, I acknowledge and accept.
I acknowledge and accept
All those in my family.
all those in my family
And in my reincarnations.
and in my reincarnations
For whom contact
was very
expensive.
expensive,
And I give them space.
and I give them space.
I embrace that experience.
I embrace that experience
At exactly the price.
at exactly the price
At which I got it.
at which I got it,
And I give it space.
and I give it space.
I acknowledge and accept.
I acknowledge and accept
all those in my family,
all those in my family,
and in my reincarnations,
and in my reincarnations,
women
women
who got pregnant
who got pregnant
before a war started,
before a war started,
and whose men were taken to the front lines
and whose men were taken to the front lines
and stayed there forever.
and stayed there forever.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price,
at exactly the price
which I already paid for it.
which I already paid for it.
Say, my dear great-grandmothers,
My dear great-grandmothers,
and it seems
and it seems
that your husbands
that your husbands
couldn't be by your side
couldn't be by your side
for one reason or another,
for one reason or another,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
It's carrying away. All right, let's move on. I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
all my reincarnations
all my reincarnations
in which I was an animal
in which I was an animal
or an insect,
or an insect,
and to make sure the offspring survives,
and to make sure the offspring survives,
I had to
I had to
protect them from the partner.
protect them from the partner.
I protected my offspring
I protected my offspring
from the father attacking,
from the father attacking,
and from the husband,
and from the husband,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
It's like a scenario in the animal world where a female, a woman, a spider, a black widow, after having sex, kills her partner, a male spider, in order to protect.
It's one of my greatest fears. If I imagine anything at all, it's that my soul will be reborn into an animal.
The human soul is incarnated in all sorts of things. It is interesting to be fulfilled and beautiful the first 100 times, but then it's boring. It's boring. It's always the same thing. It's interesting to be incarnated as a king the first 15 times. By the 16th, you're bored, not interested. That's why the human soul can be embodied in anyone and anything. Maybe some of you have been a pine tree for 300 years. 300 years. In a pine forest. You had everything there, birds, fish, and praying mantis. But this program repeats itself. Mom and dad don't have a good relationship. Mom and dad don't have a good relationship. A child is born, and the child is told that the parents were waiting for it. But that's not the fact. It's a lie. Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
all those in my family
all those in my family
and in my reincarnations
and in my reincarnations
who had
who had
an arranged marriage,
an arranged marriage,
and I give them space.
and I give them space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it,
at which I got it,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Can I ask some unpleasant questions?
Yeah.
Do you remember the motivation in your head to marry your husband? Well,
Yes, of course.
what was it? You married him because, or in order to, what was it?
My motivation was to marry a rich, successful man, to build my life in a cool way and prove something to my mother and grandmother. My grandmother got married a second time to move her children from a small town to St. Petersburg, from a small town in Belarus. And this is the official version for the family, that she got married a second time to give her children a better life. He was really strict. All of us, the grandchildren, had to toe the line. But we all knew that this marriage was meant to provide a better life for us. That's it. That's the official version. And I got married to show everyone that you can marry a rich, successful man and build a great marriage because I know everything and I know how to attract such men into your life. And to not need anything because my husband will handle everything.
Does it work?
Of course not. Of course not. In our 6-year-long relationship, we've gotten to the point where I feel the way my mom felt when she shouldered the burdens of the family, literally, while living with a husband who is doing just fine financially. I got exactly to the point in the scenario where my mom was left with an alcoholic husband and she needed everything. The year I was born, we lived in the former Soviet Union. In 2023, at the present time, I've reached the exact same point.
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
all those in my family
all those in my family
and in my reincarnations
and in my reincarnations
who had
who had
an arranged marriage,
an arranged marriage
in order to provide
the
future generations a life of security.
a life of security.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
But it seems that
But it seems that
in our system, love was lost.
Love was lost.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
Say, there's no worse curse in life
There's no worse curse in life
than to live without love.
than to live without love.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
all those in my family
all those in my family
and in my reincarnations
and in my reincarnations
who paid
who paid
too much
too much
for love.
for love.
And I give them space.
And I give them space.
I embrace their experience
I embrace their experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
all those in my family
all those in my family
and in my reincarnations
and in my reincarnations
who loved someone
who loved someone
but married someone else,
but married someone else,
and I give them space.
and I give them space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it,
at which I got it,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
How are you?
I'm back a little.
Mm-hmm. I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
all my reincarnations
all my reincarnations
in which I was
in which I was
a king's daughter
a king's daughter
or an emperor's wife,
or an emperor's wife,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Say, back then,
Back then,
people got married
people got married
for status,
for status,
or for territory,
or for territory,
or for politics,
or for politics,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
How are you? If you suddenly have a question in your mind about whether you should divorce your husband or not, don't.
Oh, yeah, I got that.
Okay, just that someone might.
No. I see it now.
How do you feel?
I'm really scared that my husband or my mom will see this episode.
And they have the same thing.
I'm so afraid. I don't even know. I could text them and say, sorry about that. Also, my husband is a deputy.
Oh,
I didn't think we'd be talking about him. I thought this was about envy. That's not what this is about. When
we got a small problem.
Yes,
1 second, the host got feverish.
what's there to say? So they all need it too? Parties and all that business?
Look, they have these codes too. And they feel it in their own way too. Everyone just has their own priorities, their own values, their own prices. Say, it's just that
It's just that
it has its own price.
it has its own price.
It doesn't mean that all of a sudden you have to destroy everything. Everyone will cry murder if you do. We are legalizing the distortions that were there. It is possible to fall in love anew with your husband or your wife. What's more, you do or don't do it anyway. After 10 years together, 20, 30, first you think, I'm going to get a divorce. But then you work on your thinking, and it turns out that you have the most wonderful partner, and that you only imagined it. So, is everything okay? All right, good. Do we have a woman here with the beautiful name of Hope? Good, come up here. I really need hope. You will take this role, the figure of hope. How do you feel?
When I came up, I felt this intense anxiety. And when you assigned me, I felt calm, but my heart was still racing, like I am this hope, and I just have this throbbing all over my body right from my heart.
Mm-hmm. Heart, you say? Say this, please. Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
all those in my family
all those in my family
and in my reincarnations
and in my reincarnations
who denied hope and closed their heart,
and closed their hearts,
and I give them space.
and I give them space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
How do you feel?
Some part of me feels it, but the circumstances, it's like force majeure. I feel it inside, but all those circumstances around me, they don't let it show. I mean, I know in some way what unconditional love is, but not in these circumstances. Something has to change.
Say, and thanks to that part of me
And thanks to that part of me
that gave up on hope, my entire lineage
my entire lineage
has what they have,
has what they have,
and I give that part space.
and I give that part space.
And I give thanks
And I give thanks
for everything that I have.
for everything that I have.
But it turns out
But it turns out
that I don't have to choose.
that I don't have to choose? Don't have to choose.
Either or.
I can't comprehend that. Not at all.
Look at the figure, Hope. How do you feel when you look at her?
Honestly?
Yes, honestly.
What are you looking at, smartass? That's what I want to say.
Yes, say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that I live by logic
that I live by logic
and not by heart,
and not by heart,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
How are you feeling?
Heavy. I feel very heavy.
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
all those in my family
all those in my family
and in my reincarnations
and in my reincarnations
who lost everything
who lost everything
they loved,
they loved,
who lost everyone
who lost everyone
they loved,
they loved,
and I give them space.
and I give them space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
And some part of me
And some part of me
is tired of losing things I love.
is tired of losing things I love.
So I started to follow logic
So I started to follow logic
when choosing,
when choosing,
so that I don't have to worry so much.
so that I don't have to worry so much.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
How do you feel?
Scared.
Let's do this kind of process now. You have a very smart brain. Very smart. And it doesn't let things through. Let's sidestep it altogether and go straight to the feelings. There's you. You are made up entirely of your own lineage, all your reincarnations, all your programs through which you survived and through which someone died, and you have them as an alternative. It doesn't matter. You may not even know them at all. It doesn't matter. You may not even know them all. There is the figure of unconditional love, I place it behind your back, and without logic, without reason. Put your hands on its shoulders like this. It's just love and you. And then something will happen between you two. You stay in your feelings for a while. See what comes up. Let's talk with you. What is your name?
My name is Angela.
How do you feel?
I'm good. Energized.
What's up with your envy?
Envy is a big driver for me. I was just listening to the woman, and I realized how different we are. And I'm having the exact opposite problem, most interestingly. If one chooses to be a person of high status, I always outgrow young people in income, status, and so on.
So you're picking the ones who keep a low profile.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. And what about envy?
For me, that's the main motivation to do things. But this envy, it's like kind.
Who?
Kind of like that. But
And who are you envious of? Let's find out. Envious of what and of whom?
when a person has a vibrant life, when a person is more successful, when they have some kind of status.
Alter ego. All right. Wait, what do you mean a vibrant life? Do they have more bouncy balls or something?
It's about freedom of movement. It's about choice.
Can you not move or what?
Well, it's like it's harder than for others. I came here by accident. I'm from Sakhalin Island, and it's very hard for me to move around. For me, every flight is...
Are you from an island?
Yes.
All right, I acknowledge and accept.
I acknowledge and accept
All those in my family.
all those in my family
And in my reincarnations.
and in my
Who
reincarnations
was locked up. And couldn't move.
and couldn't move.
And I give them space.
And I give them space.
I embrace that experience.
I embrace that experience
At exactly the price.
at exactly the price
At which I got it.
at which I got it.
Who is that on your hand?
It's architecture, women, people, images, animals. Animals and people, mostly.
All right, I acknowledge and accept.
I acknowledge and accept
All my reincarnations.
all my reincarnations
In which I was.
in which I was
A monument.
a monument,
And I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience.
I embrace that experience
At exactly the price.
at exactly the price
At which I got it.
at which I got it.
Say I as a monument.
I, as a monument,
Was very jealous.
was very jealous
Of people and
of
animals.
people and animals
Who could move around.
who could move around,
And I give it space.
and I give it space.
And how does your envy manifest?
I start working a whole lot. So instead of going places, I start working even harder so that I have more opportunities.
So you look at them.
And I feel envious.
Your energy rises.
I feel angry.
You feel
and
angry.
Put that energy to work.
You see, all for the good. All for the home, all for the family. Anyone else feel the same way? You look at someone else, they piss you off, so you start working on things. Are any of you like that? Anyone living with this same type of energy and motivation? Yes? So since it's such a driving force for you, if you take it away, this envy, what's left?
I wouldn't know what to do. It means that every need, every desire I had has been fulfilled. There is no need to work anymore. So then what?
Are all desires fulfilled?
Yeah, every place I wanted to visit. I don't know.
Say, I'm used to.
I'm used to
Motivate myself.
motivate myself.
through negative feelings.
through negative feelings.
It's my own gas station.
It's my own gas station.
I convert negative feelings into life energy.
into life energy.
If I don't have enough negative feelings in my life,
If I don't have enough negative feelings in my life,
I add them to myself.
I add them to myself.
If I don't have enough
If I don't have enough
for fulfillment and status,
for fulfillment and status,
then I start
hurting
hurting myself.
myself.
Say, my biggest motivator
My biggest motivator
is pain,
is pain,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Pay attention. Remind me, what's your name?
Angela.
Angela. Angela with a nose piercing. It actually hurts to do that. Lots of tattoos, down to having them on sensitive places like the neck. The neck is...
It's painful.
She's wearing braces. I'm embarrassed to assume, but you probably have even more piercings.
No.
No?
No.
Everything we can see. That's it?
I also have a slit tongue. But that's it.
Why would you do that to yourself?
I just like it.
Hurting yourself?
Well, no. It's not that hard to endure. They usually give you anesthetic. I just like the way it looks. I like being vibrant.
Look, there's a lot of pain expressed through her body. And she says, well, actually, it's not that hard. They give you anesthetics. When you're on anesthesia, you can have your whole body cut. Reshaped, punctured, painted. Do you realize you're in pain?
I don't understand why.
Don't think about the why. Do you realize that you are causing yourself a lot of pain?
I don't think it's me.
You what? You don't think it's me what?
That I cause it to myself.
Then who does? Who made you get piercings, braces, tattoos, and cut your tongue?
I think it's society. Maybe some kind of insecurity. When you grow up, you're told your teeth are crooked. You go and get braces, or...
I'm sure no one told you that you have a crooked tongue and that you need to.
I just like it.
One second. All right. Please be the figure of pain. This is pain. Yours. Maybe the one you stole from someone on your way.
So stern.
I'm taking your mother out of the figure of pain.
Oh, God.
What do you pay more attention to?
The mother?
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that I got everything wrong.
that I got everything wrong.
I mixed up love
I mixed up love
and pain
and pain
when my mother
when my mother
caused me pain.
caused me pain.
I felt love
I felt love
and connection,
and connection,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Now every time
Now every time
I hurt myself,
I hurt myself,
I feel a connection to my mother,
I feel a connection to my mother,
and I give it space.
and I give it space. I'm trying to think this through.
Don't, it's unnecessary. I need a figure of Angela's mom. I need a mother. How old are your mother?
53 or 55? I don't know her year of birth.
Is she strict or kind?
strict.
Oh, I forgot. There's love with pain, right? I need a strict 55-year-old mother. Okay, great. Go ahead. What is your name?
Elena.
And what's your mom's name?
Natasha.
All right, look at your mother.
So sweet. She's a blonde, too. It's similar.
What do you think of your mom's figure?
It's fine.
What about the figure of pain?
It's not there as much.
Not as interesting anymore?
Yes.
And how does the figure of pain feel?
When I came out here, I felt really excited. I never raised my hand at your shows, but I came out here and I had a strong emotional excitement. I wanted to be your pain. And I think now it's my thing. I still feel it, this excitement. And I think that you can have both at the same time?
Maybe.
I have a strong attraction to you.
Say the phrase, and it seems that
And it seems
that I take my life energy
my life energy
from pain.
from pain.
The more it hurts,
The more it hurts,
the more incentive I have
the more incentive I have
to keep living.
to keep living.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
Say, I always walk the line
I always walk the line
between life
between life
and death.
and death.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
There's so much energy she takes from all sorts of negative feelings. Feeling of envy. I ask, how does it affect you? For me, it's the fuel to strive and achieve. I am envious of this and that. Successful people who have vibrant lives. But at the same time, you keep hurting your body. I wouldn't have guessed it, but you have marks on your body and lots of them.
From what? You mean cuts of some kind?
We'll go through that for sure.
No, I don't understand something.
You have a slit tongue.
Yeah?
Doesn't that count?
Marks of pain, right? Is that what you mean? Tattoos?
Of course.
Certainly, when you get tattoos, you feel strong emotions about what you're enduring, and it's energizing for you. I felt like hurting you again.
How's the mom feeling?
I want to hug her, hold her, cuddle her.
Say, mother,
Mother,
I attract your attention
I attract your attention
through danger.
through danger.
When I get tattoos,
When I get tattoos
or piercings,
or piercings
or slit my tongue,
or slit my tongue,
your attention
your attention
is guaranteed,
is guaranteed,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I'm used to attract attention
I'm used to attract attention
from my childhood
from my childhood
through things
through things
that happened to me,
that happened to me,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
To get mom's love,
To get mom's love,
I got sick.
I got sick.
Then I scratched my knees.
Then I scratched my knees.
Then I got into trouble.
Then I got into trouble.
And no, I continue.
And no, I continue
leaving permanent marks
leaving permanent marks
of your attention
of your attention
on my body,
on my body,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
And tattoos, piercings, and what else? Tongue? It's a great way to get your mom's attention. Is your mom alive?
Yes.
How did she react to the piercings, tongue, and tattoos?
Every time she told me not to, she said, anything but that.
But you probed those boundaries further.
Yeah.
You need that pain for something. You need your mom's attention for something. You need all the things you create for something. Envy is one of the entry points, but it is not the defining one. How's it going in there?
I feel like I'm going crazy.
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
all those in my family
all those in my family
and in my reincarnations
and in my reincarnations
who trusted their feelings
who trusted their feelings
and went crazy.
and went crazy.
And I give them space.
And I give them space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
And at some point
And at some point
in my family
in my family
or in my reincarnations,
or in my reincarnations,
they made a choice
they made a choice
that feelings are dangerous,
that feelings are dangerous,
but logic and intelligence
but logic and intelligence
are safe.
are safe.
So I got used to living without feelings,
So I got used to living without feelings,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Anyway, keep going crazy. It's good for you right now. It's still in process. You're fine? Awesome. It'll feel good any second. How's it going? How's pain feeling?
Well, see, I wanted to stand closer.
How do you feel?
I feel kind of sick deep inside.
What do you mean?
It's like I don't want to notice her. But I'm here.
All right. And how do you feel?
Like something heavy is on top of me.
Awesome. We're going to do something now. I need a figure. I'll put it up and I won't tell you who it is. I'll tell you later. First, oh look, you're a perfect fit. Come on. I'm going to ask you to take your place in this space. Where's your place? When you feel it, stand there. I need one more person. We're going to relieve you a little. How about you? Yeah.
Tell me, please, who that is.
Please be a figure of insanity. Here I am pulling the insanity out of you. All those who were insane. All those who went mad. All those who were afraid to feel, who had it active. All right. Do you have that theme? Do you know anything about yours? I did choose you somehow.
My mom tells me that the scariest thing is to lose your mind.
Super.
I have a grandmother, great-grandmother, who was going crazy.
Yes.
I think dementia, something like that.
Everything's normal. How are you?
If you hadn't put it up, I'd...
This one?
Yes.
1 second.
It feels like you put this woman here to literally take away this process that's going on in me right now.
This figure is literally called the entity that generates this pain. So the things she does to herself, all those tattoos, piercings, tongues, and so on, it's like some kind of entity that stimulates her to do it. She doesn't even realize it, saying, "What marks? Do I have scars or something?" So it's like she doesn't realize it at first, and then she's like, "Oh, right." You can see from the recordings how the look, speech, and reactions change. It's like she's talking through different faces.
Wait, then why did you put her here?
Me?
You're supposed to help me. Can I just say one thing? If I don't tell you, the process won't go any further.
Sure.
I'm not from Moscow. In the first 2 hours, I unpacked, I go out to the Avia Park shopping center. There goes Lisa. She goes by, and I think, this is awesome. She walks through the Avia Park. She had black cowboy shoes and a bag. She bought something. I think she's so lucky. She walks through the Avia Park and buys things, and I don't know how I'm going to fit this Moscow into me. As I walk through it, I keep thinking how huge this Avia Park is. I came here by car, parked, and I saw that I had a very strong separation. Me and Lisa were both at Avia Park. She obviously parked her car there, and so did I. But to me, she's not some kind of celebrity, but she has this entity. She can just walk through Avia Park with a bag like that. And I'm here with my pain. How am I even going to live in this place now? It's amazing. When I see Lisa's hand, it turns me upside down. And you put her in the role of pain.
And this is the entity that causes it. It came to you. Come on.
When I was in the audience, I really saw this figure, and I went towards it. I felt drawn in, and my hand went up to hers, but Alessia caught me with her gaze. I mean, I was passing by. She caught me with her gaze, and that's it, and I was drawn in.
Interesting. 1 second. Hold on. Hold on. All right, let's do it. Say, and it seems that when I'm envious of someone, I am also envious of the pain they have in their life. I think their pain is bigger than mine. And I give it space. I embrace that experience. At exactly the price. At which I got it. Say, and it seems that through my envy, I absorbed a lot of other people's pain. And I give it space. I embrace that experience. At exactly the price. At which I got it. Say, my dear parents. I acknowledge and accept that my mother has her own fate. And I give it space. And my father has his own fate. And I give it space. And that my mom and dad are the best parents for me. And the best man and woman
and the best man and woman
for each other.
for each other.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
Say, I agree
I agree
with the relationship my parents have,
with the relationship my parents have,
the way it is.
the way it is.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
As a child, I
As a child, I
shouldn't meddle
shouldn't meddle
in their relationship.
in their relationship.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
Let's do a little magic trick. I'm going to sidestep you a little. You had some kind of cartoon about your mom and dad's relationship in your head. In the beginning, it was the version about mom and dad sort of not liking each other very much, as if they had an arranged marriage, and they lied about wanting you, and so on. And this is a cartoon. We're taking that cartoon out of your head and putting it in the figure of insanity. Let it be there for a bit. Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that I don't know
that I don't know
what my parents really felt like
really feel like
about each other.
about each other.
Everything is just my projection.
Everything is just my projection.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that I was protesting a lot
that I was protesting a lot
against my mom and dad's relationship.
against my mom and dad's relationship.
I thought they were wrong,
I thought they were wrong,
and I repeated them
and I repeated them
to fix it.
to fix it.
But it seems that
But it seems that
there was nothing to fix.
there was nothing to fix.
They will figure it out on their own,
They will figure it out on their own.
and I give it space.
And I give it space.
How do you feel?
I feel like a knot inside me came undone.
Awesome. So how does the figure of the entity feel?
I'm all right. I see. It's like I'm in between, wanting to give love and attention to both of them.
Say, I want to be in charge here.
I want to be in charge here.
I have bad news for you. I'm in charge here. Your place is there. Don't come here to heal or be in charge. How does the figure of hope feel?
Calm, but I have a feeling she's moving away from me. We were closer in the beginning. Then she slipped a little and I wanted to hug her. But it's like I'm in some other layer, and she can't feel me or see me.
She's saturated now, and at some point she'll move away from you. When there was no love at all, there may be some reaction and desire for intimacy. But when you are already saturated with it, and she has this love inside, then she may get up and leave altogether. And she may say, that's it, I get it, I feel it. Mom and dad love each other, and everything is awesome. How do you feel?
We spoke those words. I keep hearing them in my heart, and that gives me lightness.
She started talking about feelings. It echoes in your heart and gives you lightness. Not I think, not logical constructs, not from the mind. She finally started speaking from the heart. How are you?
Right now, I feel like I can see everyone. It makes me want to say, hello, it's so good to see you all. I saw these black little circles, and it felt like they wanted something from me. And I'm thinking, now I have to do something because they want something from me. And after that wording, that they can feel whatever they want on their own, and I shouldn't get involved in any way at all, their faces became so nice.
Say, and some part of me
and some part of me
really loves
my
partner,
partner,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
Love lessons come to people in very interesting, sometimes even convoluted ways. To some, the lessons of love come through learning to love those you have absolutely nothing to love for. It is easy to love those who are kind, affectionate, and courteous to you. But the real lessons of love come to you when you learn to draw that love out of yourself, when there seems to be nothing to draw from. And you begin to love those who are difficult to love, those who betrayed you, those who wronged you, those who are violent to you. It's very difficult, but these are the most powerful teachers in your life that teach you about love. And you have love in you for people, for yourself, and for your husband. And your parents really loved each other, just that they have a very specific kind of love. How are you now?
It's like I'm alive. I feel like I need to hug someone.
Hug your husband when you come home, saying, "Darling, I missed you so much." He'll say, "Oh, please, we saw each other just half a day ago. What's with you?" He'll say, "What a fun wife I have." You're okay.
Thank you so much.
Breathe. We need to figure out the continuation of this show over there. What's going on with you?
I'm standing here thinking, Yulia, please take away my wretchedness and pride. And you're like, I'm in charge here. And I thought, that's fun. I felt it, but I didn't realize if it was me or not. And then I was like, no, you're definitely in charge. So I'm standing here thinking this. And so it came to be. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Especially with practitioners, when you pull out the entity like this. Generally working with the spiritual world, and anyone can come. But in order for the space to be safe for everyone, if all of a sudden the figure starts to pull back, like, I'm from here, I'm from there, and anyway. And this is where it starts, the moment of showing off. It's a way of taking over. And then for the safety of everyone involved, I take that power back for myself. I say, I'm in charge. And it feels calmer. How do you feel? Look, you've got a whole bunch of...
Well, there's certainly pressure here, and it feels like I don't want to, but like, I have to.
And do you want to, or do you not?
I don't want to, but I have to.
I don't want to, but I have to. How do you feel?
This universal sadness.
About what?
That the world is so... It's not as good as it could be.
Saying, I acknowledge and accept.
I acknowledge and accept.
My alien part.
My alien part.
And I give it space.
And I give it space.
I embrace that experience.
I embrace that experience.
At exactly the price.
At exactly the price.
At which I got it.
At which I got it.
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that some part of me
misses
my original planet,
my original planet,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
And while I still feel pain,
And while I still feel pain,
I feel alive,
I feel alive,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
How does the mother figure feel?
In pain. Legs. I'm barely standing. My legs hurt so much. I wanted to run away.
Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
that I stole the best
the best
from my mother.
from my mother.
Mom, I love you so much
Mom, I love you so much
that I wanted to save you
that I wanted to save you
and take away
and take away
your pain
your pain
so that you wouldn't feel pain,
so that you wouldn't feel pain,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
And it's easier for me to punish myself
And it's easier for me to punish myself
than to lose you
than to lose you
because of your pain,
because of your pain,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Angela, I again have news for you. That which you stole from your mother, it's not yours. Give that pain back to its origin. How do you feel?
Strange.
I feel disoriented. I don't know what's next.
I see her on the screen. It feels good. But I can't see her here.
All right, let me free you. You're like an alien structure. Thank you so much. How's the mom figure feeling?
When I got dressed today, I looked at myself and I say, Mom, I'm also a spiritual midwife. My mother is a medic. And my grandmother is a surgeon.
All right, say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
all those in my family
all those in my family
and in my reincarnations
and in my reincarnations
who practiced medicine
who practiced medicine
and blocked their feelings,
and blocked their feelings,
including pain,
including pain,
and I give them space.
and I give them space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
They all pretended
They all pretended
that they don't feel anything,
that they don't feel anything,
that they don't feel their pain,
that they don't feel their pain
and the pain of their patients.
and the pain of their patients.
So I took
So I took
all of it upon myself,
all of it upon myself,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
How are you?
On the one hand, I'm good, but on the other hand, I'm still sad. It's sad that it's like this. Who will carry that burden?
Say, and it seems
And it seems
that some part of me
that some part of me
thinks that I'm
thinks that I'm
a savior
a savior
of my family,
of my family,
who, if not me,
who, if not me,
will take burden
will take burden
of their sins,
of their sins,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
I embrace that experience
I embrace that experience
at exactly the price
at exactly the price
at which I got it.
at which I got it.
Say, God,
God,
I hope that today they won't sin again,
that today they won't sin again,
because just a couple more sins
because just a couple more sins
will definitely break me
will definitely break me
with the pain it causes,
with the pain it causes,
or I will kill myself,
or I will kill myself,
overdoing it
overdoing it
with the amount of pain
with the amount of pain
that I live in place of
in
others,
place of others,
and I give it space.
and I give it space.
Say, God,
God,
I can't stand it
I can't stand it
to do your job.
to do your job.
Can I please
Can I please
be a human
be a human
and not a God?
and not a God?
Being a God
Being a God
is too difficult for me.
is too difficult for me.
How's the mom figure feeling?
This is definitely about me. I feel very heavy.
Is it hard to decide who will live and who will die?
It is.
And not everyone survives.
Stop the earth. I want to leave.
I think I'm getting close. Are there people among you who have a strong presence in the church, whose parents are priests, whose dad is a priest, whose grandfather is a priest, whose mom goes to a temple? I need you. Who is a priest?
My grandfather,
And your name?
Maria.
Maria. Like Magdalene. Please be, even got a cross. Please be a figure of God. Feel this story and this love and the insanity and the pain. The mom, the doctor, the doctors, this whole thing. We pull Maria out of you. You stand in the corner. I hope your grandfather wasn't killed for being a priest.
No.
Okay, good.
I sense equality. They're all equal to me. I love them all.
Say, I love you all,
Yes, I love you all.
and you are equal to me.
And you are equal to me.
Say, and all of you
And all of you
have a right
have a right
to live
to live
the same.
the same.
There aren't worse people.
There aren't worse people.
There aren't better people.
There aren't better people.
There aren't those closer to me,
There aren't those closer to me
or those further from me.
or those further from me.
I'm open to everyone equally.
I'm open to everyone equally.
I have a surprise for you. This figure of unconditional love and the figure of God are one and the same. God and unconditional love are one and the same. But someone who got in contact with it couldn't handle it and went insane to rest. When you can't stand what people are doing to each other and to themselves, it's easy to go like, well, screw you, deal with it yourself, it's impossible to choose. Say, I acknowledge and accept
I acknowledge and accept
all those stories in my lineage
all those stories in my lineage
with fratricide.
with fratricide,
when it was impossible to choose
when it was impossible to choose
who's right and who's wrong,
who's right and who's wrong,
and it was easier to go insane
and it was easier to go insane
than to choose. And I give it space.
And I give it space.
When the conflict is too contradictory and you can't make a choice, it's easier to go bonkers than to do something about it. It's also a defense mechanism. God is love. Insanity is like a lifeline. When you shut down from everything that's going on, and from the pain as well. And when you're in touch with that energy, that everyone actually has a right to life. Everybody has the right to live. The homeless, the crazy, the wealthy, and the poor. It doesn't matter. Locksmiths, laborers. Even people who stumble. Even people who have stumbled many times still have the right to live. If you are alive, you certainly have that right. You don't have to earn it from someone by comparing that you're more successful or prettier, or some special or privileged person. Everyone just has their role. The bread baker has their own role. The nurse has their own role. And the wife of an official has her own role, a responsible one, by the way. It's just the role you chose. But no one is worse or better. With love and compassion for all who are. And I have some great news for you. You are not the God. Some people survive, some die. You and the doctors did your best when providing medical care or treatment. You don't get to decide who lives and who dies. But you are often the boundary between the world of the living and the world of the dead. In the intensive care, some survive, some don't. You are simply the guides who keep the human being alive. But whether a person survives or not is chosen by the Creator and the human soul. But putting a God costume can be incredibly painful. And when you have this anesthesia over generations, then you have Angela here.
Who, if not me?
Who, if not me? With braces, tattoos, and everything else, she displays that pain. How do you feel?
Relieved. It's as if the responsibility kind of went away.
It's easier now. You don't have to carry the sky on your shoulders, right? How do you perceive other people now, those you were envious of?
I'm not envious anymore.
Not envious?
No. Everyone carries their own burden.
You could say that. Everyone carries their own burden. Everyone carries their own function. And whether you agree to it or not, nobody asked you. People call it a trendy word. Destiny. People are like, where's my destiny? What is my destiny? Does a person have a choice not to follow their destiny? They don't. But either you follow it of your own accord, or you follow it by force. with the burdens associated. I'm borrowing that word from Angela. With the burden of that destiny, whatever that destiny means to you. Is it possible to refuse and stay away from the heat? No. Everyone has to do it. It was a revelation to me when I realized that not all kings and emperors wanted to be ones. It would seem that people aspired to become one, to advance in resources, in power, status, importance. And who is the highest in status and importance in the career ladder? It's a king, an emperor, a president. And there's nothing above that social ladder anymore. It was a revelation to me when I realized that not everyone in the modern history described in books, and I'm sure at the current moment as well, not everyone who is emperor wants to be one. And it seems so obvious, even in Russian history, the way succession took place. Imagine you were born to Alexander I as a son, or a daughter, or to Nicholas I or II. Whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not, you're told from childhood, sorry, but you happen to be the child of a high-ranking figure, and it is your destiny to become an emperor, because your father is also an emperor. But maybe you didn't want to at all. Maybe you wanted to breed butterflies or swim or paint. But they keep telling you in your childhood, sorry, you'll be one whether you like it or not. There are revolutions and poisonings, and forgery, arson, coups. Sorry you're the emperor, but they'll want to kill you. There's this little bit of an inconsistency. Can you say no? No, you can't. Because there are certain rules, routines, and so on. To me, this was a revolutionary idea. Simply to allow that a person could be born into their destiny as the son of someone, or the daughter of someone, and inherit a profession. Let's call it that. But they've absolutely no desire to follow it. But they can't not follow it either. Therefore, my dears, everyone has a destiny. Whether you want it or not is of little interest to anyone. How do you feel?
Calm.
Thank you.
Хорошо. Я думаю, пожалуй,
All right, I think that's enough.
хватит. Тема зависти
We got the envy topic covered. Thank you.
Спасибо.